What's going on, everybody? This is going to be a quick video, kind of a last second reaction here. Sitting here on a Wednesday afternoon, and this morning the Browns decided to make some coaching changes, and this is interesting because I personally anticipate this offseason for the Browns to kind of be pretty big. I think there's going to be some big moves made. What are those moves? I don't know for sure, but I do think there's going to be some subtractions from this team. I do think there's going to be some key additions from this team. And like I mentioned this morning, the Browns made some decisions with the coaching situation. So, per Josina Anderson, the Browns have fired offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt, running backs coach Stump Mitchell, and they will not renew the contract of tight end coach T.C. McCartney. So, this is interesting. This is interesting. I personally did not see this coming, and maybe we should have, right? Maybe we should have seen a change coming, but I didn't. So this kind of caught me off guard. Let's just start off from the bottom and work our way up. The tight ends coach, I don't really know a whole lot about him. I don't think this is a huge thing, right? I mean, obviously the tight ends this year were a little bit disappointing outside of David Njoku. You've not really seen Harrison Bryant develop that much. Jordan Akins came in, and, he was brought in because of his relationship with Deshaun Watson, and obviously Deshaun only played 6 games, so, maybe the plans didn't go well there. But outside of David Njoku, the tight ends room has kind of been underwhelming. But that's, of course, Njoku is the best tight end in football right now. Like, I know the Browns season just ended, but, on that Saturday, David Njoku was the best tight end currently playing in football, and you can't argue with me otherwise. He was playing out of his mind. So, it is what it is. I mean, they didn't renew the contract, so the contract was coming up, so it's not all that surprising. With T.C. McCartney, wish him the best. The shocking one here is Stump Mitchell. Stump Mitchell is an absolute legend. Love Coach Mitchell. It's so just unbelievably sad to see him go. He's a very good running backs coach. And, it's kind of confusing to me why the Browns would make this decision. But with that being said, Nick Chubb this season gets hurt in game 2, out for the year. And you had Drum Ford, you had Pierre Strong. And this season was just kind of weird from the running back position. You bring in Kareem Hunt, and Drum Ford at the beginning of the year, I thought struggled a lot. His vision was atrocious. But middle to back half of the season, he started getting better. He started improving. And it wasn't consistent, right? The Browns' run game was not reliable. So, I don't know if they're blaming Stump Mitchell for that. I don't know. But, again, with these position coaches, I'm not going to, sit here and be too upset about it because it's position coaches. It's not the end of the world. But they're people too. And it sucks seeing Stump Mitchell go out the door. But who knows? We'll see what happens with those two positions. But the one I want to talk about a little bit more in depth here real fast, offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt being fired. This is the most interesting news of the day because AVP came in 2020, and obviously that was the Baker era, and a lot has changed since then. And the question has always been, like, what does AVP do? Like, what does Alex Van Pelt do on the coaching staff for the Browns? And, that the answer to that question is kind of confusing because he's like a quarterbacks coach / offensive coordinator / assistant, like, just helps out. Like, it was not a solidified role for AVP. And, I think he was probably frustrated with that. I think Stefanski, there was some stuff going on there. But the question comes, what's next? And who's next? And what does this position of offensive coordinator mean? And this is the key part for me, is I think there needed to be a new breath of fresh air with this offense. I do think that is the case, and it can't just be Kevin Stefanski. And does this mean Stefanski's going to give up play calling? I personally don't believe so. Like that's a situation where I'm not going to believe it until I see it. And I think Stefanski would benefit from giving up play calling duties, but at the same time, that is why you hired him to be your head coach, because he was quote unquote an offensive guru. And I think Kevin Stefanski's done a great job with play calling this season. Is it great all the time? No, but all things considered, I think he's definitely improved. And what does this mean? Now you get rid of AVP. What's the direction here? Because in my opinion, I think they need to get somebody, if they're not going to allow their offensive coordinator to call plays, that is not going to make this job that attractive. Because if you're going to an offensive coordinator position, you're going to want to call plays. So I'm not, don't expect the Browns to get the best option out there. And I don't have names for you, but if the offensive coordinator is not calling plays, then the role that they should be is being brought in for an offense that fits Deshaun Watson more. Because you're bringing in a guy who, his number one job should be that breath of fresh air into this offense. Somebody preferably who works best working out of the gun and has a lot of experience offensively out of shotgun, because that's what Deshaun Watson is most comfortable in. And Kevin Stefanski likes to do a lot under center, a lot of play action, a lot of, that wide zone run. So I do think there's some changes that needed to be made. So how much say is this offensive coordinator going to have in the game plan? How much are they going to have say in the offense? That is the question that we're kind of waiting for to be answered, because I don't know. I really don't know if this is like Jimmy Haslam from the top saying, hey, need to change some things with the offense, go get an offensive coordinator. Don't know if this is Stefanski just wanting somebody different. We don't know these things, but personally, I would like to see Stefanski give some play calling duties away. I'm not saying that he sucks or anything. My opinion is, just as a head coach, that's enough work as it is. And I think Stefanski has done a good enough job that he should just be kind of an overseer and give that duty to an offensive coordinator. And that doesn't mean he can never call plays, like, I don't know. But, man, this is going to be interesting. Because this next upcoming season is the determining year on Deshaun Watson. And I've talked about this. Health is a big thing. Deshaun's played 6 games this season, 6 games last season after suspension. And you need to get a good sample size of what you have in Deshaun Watson. And the only way you can do that is if he stays healthy. But a big part of him staying healthy is you got to put him in the right situation for him. And you got to shape the offense around him. And there's 230 million reasons why. So, and one of those reasons you could say is Nick Chubb coming off of injury. We don't know what this running back room is going to look like either. So, what the Browns decide to do here is going to be fascinating. I know for sure I'm going to be paying attention to the rumor mills, what they're looking at, what the purpose of it is, and we'll go from there. But with that being said, I want to know, what do you guys think of this? Obviously, you guys, if you're listening to this right now, the only way you could communicate with me is like in the comment section or whatever. But this is one of these instances where I want to get public opinion on. I want to know what people are thinking, because I think everybody's going to have a lot of different answers. I think there's going to be people who want Stefanski to keep calling plays. I think there's going to be people who want him nowhere near play calling. For me personally, I wouldn't mind a new play caller, but at the same time, at the very least, I think there needs to be a new direction within this offense. And if that comes with game planning and, everything like that, then so be it. But definitely a change that needs to be made. And last thing I'll say real quick here, I want to see the Browns spread it out. You watch these other NFL teams. I don't know about you guys, but the offense for the Browns just seems so condensed. And I know it works because we have a good run game, but I want to see us spread it out. I want to see what we can do, bring in some more weapons this offseason, and just kind of rejuvenate this offense. Because I think we have the meat and bones of it, you know, and just try to figure out the rest. And these little details are important. So, anyways, with that being said, let me know your thoughts. Who do you guys want? Again, I don't have any names for you at the moment, but we'll see. This is fascinating for sure. But we will see you in the next one, everybody. Go Browns.